has held a provincial assembly to elect new governor. Conservation organizations announce ambitious new partnership. Concerns raised over rise in TB and HIV in Guilala.
This is NBC Papua New Guinea National News.
Good evening, I'm Antonia Singut. The Hela Provincial Assembly will sit next week Tuesday to elect a new governor for the province for the remaining months before the elections next year. This follows the court ruling today by Justice Colin McKyle. The court ruled that the parties go back to the Assembly to elect a new governor after the matters regarding the election of Koroba Lake Kopiago MP Philip Undialu and Komo Magarima MP Francis Potape on two separate Assembly sittings in Tari were null and void. Gabriel Bego reports.
This is the scene at the courthouse today. Supporters of both member for Koroba Lake Kopiago Philip Undialu and member for Komo Mangarima Francis Potape crowded outside the courthouse for the decision. The court's decision today ruled for the parties to return to the Provincial Assembly to elect a new governor.
But basically, court refused both elections. Elected him in the afternoon, elected me in the afternoon, so in the morning, so that was it.
It's unlikely leaders fighting for power see each other in the face in such a situation. But both leaders, Mr. Undialu and Mr. Potape, shook hands and addressed the supporters outside the courthouse.
Time, brother, stop. Clerk must be neutral. Deputy Chairman, Acting Governor, Deputy Governor, I'm holding power staff, and must be neutral. All Assembly members will go back to our Assembly sometimes next week or whatever time Clerk will put the notice out, and Pablo go back. We are all brothers. Philip Undialu is my brother. Deputy Governor and brother. All the member and me brother also. Yes. And one month holding power, so power fight, so you make him. You don't make him anything.
The court's decision was welcomed by Ela's Deputy Governor, Thomas Potape, after the court ruling. The Deputy Governor said the court's decision will be implemented without further delay.
I'm still the chairman of the Provincial Assembly, me like talk clear also. In by holding PC past Tuesday, this Tuesday, Thursday. And then next week Tuesday, me by holding my assembly. This latter me by looking my all public servants must stop neutral. All people from Hela must stop neutral. Now, all the triple member me by me like looking my all the triple member must stop the province. Now, assembly member of the presidents, elected president, not the failed presidents. All my staff of the province. Now, me blow by this latter, me blow by holding. Used by government blow me the province. This latter me by holding. Me blow by put him. The weather said the member of the Olu Potape. Me blow by walk boom one them. Very important is unity in the province is very important. Because now me blow waiting court case problem. Come clear, come good. Just Magol, I'm ruling now, and me must be welcome this decision. A very important decision, and make him down.
Gabriel Bego, NBC National News, Port Moresby.
A revised 3-year corporate plan was among two other projects that were launched today by the Department of Prime Minister and National Executive Council. The revised third edition of the 2015 to 2017 corporate plan aims to improve efficiency in the department's role of coordinating and monitoring public service delivery. Also coinciding with this was the launch of the department's new corporate wear and its first official website. Gregory Avira reports.
Strutting down the aisle, dressed in the department's new corporate wear. The concept of having their own unique wear was, in recent years, just an idea. But as of today, they have an official attire they can proudly wear. As glamorous as it was, the event also coincided with the launching of the department's first official website and the revised edition of its 3-year corporate plan. Chief Secretary to Government, Ambassador Isaac Lupari, while commending the department, says it plays an important role in linking the Office of the Prime Minister and NEC to the public service. Ambassador Lupari encouraged staff of the department to carry out their duties diligently to ensure decisions by the executive arm of the government are effectively implemented.
Everyone must play their part. You do your bit, I do my bit, everybody do a bit. That bit's going to head up to a bigger thing. That is achieving the goals, the targets that we set in a corporate plan.
As a show of gratitude for the milestone, a triple-layered cake was cut by the Chief Secretary and other Deputy Secretaries, each layer representing the 3 projects launched. The department's acting Deputy Secretary, Frank Icy, while congratulating the staff of these achievements, says it is now up to each individual to perform their duties to carry out the department's core functions.
This event should motivate all of us to step up and deliver in our various roles and duties as officers of this key department and, more importantly, as responsible citizens of Papua New Guinea.
Gregory Avira, NBC National News, Port Moresby.
The National Executive Council has appointed the new board members for PNG Ports Corporation. Most of the members were reappointed to serve for a second term in the organisation to fully establish the company's goals and objectives. Minister for Public Enterprise and State Investments, William Duma, officially made the announcement today. Jacqueline Yala reports.
The new board members were appointed after their 3 years contract expired. Those reappointed include the former chairman, Nathaniel Poya, who will continue to serve for another 3 years. Fabian Cho will also continue to serve as deputy chairman, including Patrick Amini and others. A prayer dedication was made over the new appointed members. While representing the government, Minister Duma said the appointment was made through their credentials and experiences. The government has invested 1 billion kina on infrastructure around the country, and so wharves are one of the important areas to boost the country's international and local trade.
We've put in the hard work, we've borrowed heavily, we've gone to the banks, we've got the money, we've engaged consultants, we're putting up the structures. We just need to work together to ensure that all our investments pay off. As you all know, there are only 2 profitable ports operating in the country, namely Port Moresby and Lae.
The new board will continue to carry on from what has been achieved for the past 3 years.
Together with the reappointment of the board, we have achieved some milestone projects, including motor care, port development, had a cost of 450 million. The Huyen Industrial Park development.
More focus will be on maritime sector.
The corporate and strategic objectives of the company insofar as the delivery of government policies are concerned and as they relate to the maritime transportation sector are fully implemented to ensure that we get the level of efficiency that the nation so desires and ultimately cost competitive outcomes at our groceries.
The new board were also challenged to carry out their work ethically. Jacqueline Yala, NBC National News, Port Moresby.
Pangu Party leader Sam Basil today announced the appointment of a former senior public servant as the party's latest advisor. Former PNG Chief Ombudsman Commission Chief Ilageno will take lead as the internal security advisor and governance specialist. Given the vast experience in the area of internal security and leadership, he is committed to assisting the Pangu Party. Mr. Geno is the 4th member to be appointed as a party executive. He'll be joining Brian Kramer, Jerry Singurok and Dalzi Samare. Pangu Party intends to increase its membership before the 2017 general elections. Sheila Malkin reports.
The announcement of his appointment was made today in Port Moresby. Basil welcomed him by praising his strong credential as high-ranking constitutional office holder and former police commissioner.
Chief Ilageno brings impressive credentials to Pangu Party and a team of thinkers that we have that will advise Pangu Party and also form good policies for the party to move forward in the 2017 national elections.
The addition of Chief Geno to the team will enhance and facilitate the importance of governance and security in all its forms.
One of the party's core pillars remains rural development and benefit sharing for all Papua New Guineans. Chief Geno's appointment again ensures that I can lead with a good team that has the technical expertise and the institutional memory to guide this country through the urgent institutional recovery that's required to regain international credibility and also the credibility of Papua New Guineans.
Chief Geno emphasized that his role would be to ensure policies design would give prominence to the framework of the Constitution that defines the operations of the institution of the state.
Pangu leadership, you did not make a mistake by asking me to be the chief advisor on internal security, because I want to say, as a Papua New Guinean, I am privileged to have served three main elements of any democratic society where you deal with rule of law, the criminal laws, the administrative law, and constitutional law to do with running of a democratic society, which is Papua New Guinea. And I want to thank you sincerely, and all my heart is committed to what Pangu is doing.
Sheila Malkin, NBC National News, Port Moresby.
Former Chief Ombudsman Commissioner Ilageno has questioned why the Ombudsman Appointments Committee failed to fulfill the appointment of 3 people as members of the Commission. He said according to the Constitution there are supposed to be 3 members, the Chief Ombudsman and 2 Ombudsmen. However, that's not the case with the current position of the OC. Mr. Geno added that this is a cause of concern.
The reason being, when the 3 members of the Ombudsman Commission decide to conduct a leadership investigation, the meeting must be called by the Chief Ombudsman as per the law. Nobody can call the meeting. And then their 3 members will sit and they will decide on the allegation of misconduct against a leader whether or not to investigate. And if there is and it's a majority vote. If there is a 2-1, then investigation will proceed. But in this case, there's only 2 members of the commission, so it's going to be difficult. Where they disagree, then there's a casting power given to the chairman of the committee, which is a chief ombudsman, then can invoke the casting power. So that will give him 2 votes against 1. And it's going to be very, very difficult and arguable for and against the law. So I wonder why they only have 2 members of the Ombudsman in situ.
Health authorities are concerned with the rise in tuberculosis and HIV cases in the Goilala district of Central Province. This has prompted the local member, William Samb, to make it his priority in tackling the issue. He's also raised concerns about the lack of proper data, which has hindered the work of health workers in the district. Mr. Samb made these comments during his 5th District Development Authority meeting at Onege Station in the Waitape local level government recently. Jason Gimawuri reports.
Health has been one of the least developed sectors in Goilala district over the last 40 years. This is evident with only the Catholic Mission health centers operating in most parts of the district. Member Sam says the lack of data makes it very difficult to carry out basic services.
We need to collect data, health data. I'll have a meeting with our health officer here who came from Moresby. Just came and wanted to see me tonight. So I'll have a meeting with him. We have a lot of things to do in health sector in Goilala, but we need to start somewhere. As the teacher give plenty list for education. We work on the top percent finish health and one kind, but we cannot, for the sake of infrastructure, ignore these two key sectors. Where we can, while providing infrastructure, will assist where we can to get basic health service to our people first.
He said a health team from the Catholic Mission Diocese will be at the Ononga station to carry out awareness and collect data on diseases, including immunization for children under 6 years old. Mr. Sam says he is faced with a huge challenge to address the health sector after learning that TB and HIV are on the rise.
We've done 50,000 to allow for their allowance and also for the traveler, the chopper hire, whatever. So they are doing that tomorrow, and when they are there, please, they ask for information, give the information. One big killer is TB and HIV, yeah? HIV, AIDS, and TB. They will be coming and asking questions. Questions they will ask are confidential. You know, can talk also, oh, my name, kissing TB, and I'm Bruce with nobody must kiss him AIDS. It's like I'm talking of business for you.
The Rural Health Outreach Program Team Leader Dr. Cinderella Gasso from the Berina Catholic Diocese pointed out that accessibility into most parts of the district was still a major challenge.
The challenges would be the accessibility to the rural people. We as health workers would like to bring service there, but we don't have the access in that. We have to, for instance, road infrastructure is very important. In this case, we had to get on a chopper, which is not that expensive coming from the mission's point of view. And particularly, just from spending a day here, I can see that even there is a health facility, the people's access to it is still limited.
Dr. Gassos said nearly 80% of Central Province is rural and the church cannot reach out in terms of health if it does not have the accessibility. Jason Gimawuri, NBC National News, Port Moresby.
A three-man Supreme Court bench has ordered the recount of the 2012 Kandep Open election results. The decision was handed down at the Waigani Courthouse in Port Moresby this afternoon. An appeal by local MP Don Polier against an earlier National Court decision was thrown out with the recount ordered within 30 days. 5 disputed ballot boxes were ordered to be recounted as well. Mr. Polier, however, will remain in office until the completion of the recount as ordered by the court. He welcomed the ruling, but will further question the ruling through a slip rule application. Polier won by an absolute majority by scoring over 23,000 votes, but the result was successfully disputed in court by runner-up Alfred Manasseh. About 11 of the world's leading conservation organizations have announced an ambitious new partnership. This is to identify, map, monitor and conserve key biodiversity areas with more than $15 million committed over the next 5 years. Through this partnership, resources and expertise will be mobilized to further identify and map key biodiversity areas worldwide. The announcement was made at the International Union of Conservation and Nature World Conservation Congress underway in Honolulu, Hawaii. Our reporter and IUCN fellow Kevin Dayonga reports from Honolulu.
According to a new report launched by UN Environment and IUCN, it revealed that crucial biodiversity areas have been left out. Key species and habitats are unprecedented and inadequate management is limiting the effectiveness of protected areas. Head of UN Environment Eric Solheim, while presenting the report, said the huge gains in the number and size of protected areas made in the last decade have to be matched by improvements in their quality.
The need to get payment for ecosystem services and to enshrine any conservation effort also in such a way that it gives benefits to people in economic and social terms. If we can't do that, we will by and large fail.
IUCN's Director General Inga Anderson added by saying that the world is facing critical environmental and societal changes such as climate change, food and water security. This is another burden. She added that protected areas play a major role in conserving species and ecosystems that help us confront these challenges, and ensure that they are carefully mapped and effectively managed is crucial if we want to continue to prosper on this planet. According to scientists at the IUCN and UN Environment's World Conservation Monitoring Center, there are 222,467 protected areas today, covering almost 20 million square kilometers, or 14.7% of the world's land, excluding Antarctica. It says recommendations would help to hold biodiversity loss, improve food and water security, enable vulnerable human communities to better cope with natural disasters and conserve traditional knowledge. Kevin Dayonga, NBC National News, Honolulu, Hawaii.
Overseas, the US president has cancelled a meeting with his Philippines counterpart after Rodrigo Duterte launched a foul-mouthed remark against him. President Duterte insulted Barack Obama and said he won't be lectured by anyone on his country's human rights record. They were due to speak at the Asia Leaders Summit in Laos, but Mr. Obama says he'll now meet with South Korea's president instead.
Rodrigo Duterte was given a warm welcome as he arrived in the Lao capital Vientiane. It was a stark contrast to the less than friendly comments he made as he left the Philippines.
Son of a whore, I will swear at you in that forum.
President Duterte lashed out at the US president's plan to raise human rights issues at a face-to-face meeting in Vientiane. The US is concerned at the rise in extrajudicial killings since Rodrigo Duterte came to power. The Philippines president sanctions the killing of drug dealers and says he won't be lectured by anyone, not even Barack Obama.
I am a president of a sovereign state, and we have long ceased to be a colony. I do not have any master except the Filipino people.
President Obama, also in Laos, has now cancelled the meeting altogether. His own language was more diplomatic.
I have seen some of those colorful statements in the past, and so clearly he's a colorful guy.
The last pusher.
Colourful is putting it kindly. This is the man who threatened to kill his own children if they used drugs and publicly joked about the rape of an Australian female missionary. But Rodrigo Duterte knows he has strong support among Filipinos.
The campaign against drug will continue. Maraming mamatay dyan. Plenty will be killed until the last pusher is out of the streets.
This new scrap could affect talks on another key issue, the South China Sea. The Philippines is a key US ally in its dispute with China, but talks on any joint approach will now have to wait.
We now look at the weather preview with Douglas.
Thanks, Antonia. The weather in brief. All centres are forecasted to have scattered thundery showers and areas of rain. For the Highlands region, areas of morning fog to follow. Join me a little later in the bulletin for the details. Antonia, it's back to you.
Thank you, Douglas. Coming up after the break, opposition disappointed by 5-men bench decision clearing Prime Minister Pete O'Neill of wrongdoing, and a remote village in the Gulf province played host to the United Church's 7th National Women's. Stay with us on NBC National News.